Hello, 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 everyone. So I am starting to really get off schedule. I had a feeling. I apologize. Hey, everyone. So this is Christina. I'm your host for Chapter 1 and Beyond. And if you're new here, welcome, welcome. If you are coming back to my marvelous 3 or 4 revisitors every week, I appreciate you. Hope your week is going well. Today is August 12th. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I was supposed to have a episode out last Friday. That definitely did not happen. Last week was just absolutely nuts, and I don't even want to talk about it. Like I don't even want to relive it. so, um, yeah. This episode has been a mosh posh. And I'm gonna be honest with you. My original plan for this episode was to make like I don't know. It was more to discuss like lit RPG genre subgenre of sci-fi, but I have been reading some pretty crazy books in the last couple of weeks, and I really need to talk about it. So it's gonna be a mix of like, hey, we're gonna talk about lit RPG, but we're also gonna talk about recent reads. So yeah, buckle up, and we're gonna just dive right into it. So I had a pretty good reading month in July. I read 12 books in July, and this month is like really showing progress as well. I think currently right now, as of this recording, I'm gonna load up my stats, but I'm pretty sure I'm already at 4 books, 5 books, and we're only in like week 2 of this month. Yeah. Well, like legit, like only week 2. So I'm like on a roll here. Yeah, I'm on my 4th book. Um, so so yeah. So I finished recently Pet Cemetery by Stephen King. And if you know anything about my reading history, even from when I was doing videos on YouTube, you know dang well that I never picked up a Stephen King book. I never really picked up, like, when it comes to his classics and his originals, I never, ever, ever picked them up. I have read Elevations by him. I've read The Institute by him and absolutely love both of those books. Um, but I did not. Um, I have to say that I'm very, very upset with myself for going in blind with this particular book. Just because it traumatized me to no end. And I'm laughing only because this book made me feel all different emotions in one. Um, as a mom of two, I was very, very distraught, and I was at work when I was listening to this audiobook when the certain individual dies in this book. Um, and I'm not going to give any spoilers away because if you haven't read this book, I have to say it is still something worth reading, but you need to go in knowing that this is like the darkest twisted book I have ever freaking read. And I can say that with full confidence that this is like this the most severe, like, dark twisted book. Now, I thought How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix was bad. No, no, this book takes it to a whole other level. so um so I had a few friends and former high school classmates recommend this book to me, and they had told me, okay, if you're going to read anything original Stephen King, you need to read Pet Cemetery, The Shining, and The Stand. And of course, out of those 3 books, I was like, oh, we're gonna pick Pet Cemetery. Why not? Because before I went on a book buying ban, which has been going very marvelously. I'll say that with pure sarcasm. um, that that was the last book that I had purchased, and with doing Herkyed 2.0, doing very well on my reading journey for this year, I was like, why the heck not, you know? So to not give anything away, the thing about this book is that you have um, this doctor that has two kids, a wife. They relocate to this property in Maine, and they just start to like live their lives in this new environment. Okay, um, the couple across the way, like it starts off with this couple, and all the neighbors, obviously know that they're new, and they welcome them in with open arms, and so to speak. But things get very twisty because what ends up like transpiring is this discovery of this pet cemetery, and the father, Lewis, he doesn't really think anything of it. He's like, oh, this is just a creepy old pet cemetery, like people bury their pets up here, and then like the older gentleman that lives across the way from them, I believe his name is Judd or Jude. Judd. I think it's Judd actually from what I remember in the audiobook. He introduces them to this space called the pet cemetery, and like I was like, okay, let's like bring on the creep factor, um like I said, I'm not giving anything away, but there's like a series of events that occur, and it just gets darker and more twisted and more crazy than I've ever seen in my entire life when it comes to a horror book. um and like I said, as a mom of two, I have to say this book really did traumatize me. I was crying. I was flabbergasted at one point, and I just don't understand why Stephen King would write something in such grave, like descriptive detail about some of the things that happened in this book. And if you have read this book, I you know exactly what I'm talking about. So I definitely still gave it a 5 stars because of the fact that I just was super curious to get like as soon as I hit that 75% mark, I was like, oh my god, like I just couldn't stop reading, but I was so grossed out and so traumatized by what I was reading. I was like, I'm never picking up a Stephen King book ever again. But then when I got to the end, I was like, okay, that was actually pretty damn satisfying. So I have decided that I'm going to continue my journey with the reading Stephen King books. But um, that was one of the Stephen King books I do have. Now, I do have Fairy Tale by Stephen King, and I've been told it's not as dark and twisted as Pet Cemetery in his originals. So, I don't know. I need to like mix it up a little bit because that one, like Pet Cemetery, definitely made me like feel all the things. And I'm going to be quite honest with you. I I need to like segue into something else because I went from Tales from Hinterland by Melissa Albert, which is like dark, twisted fairy tales. It kind of reminded me a lot of like Grimm's fairy tales, only in a more zhuzhed up like way, and I really loved it. Like I went from that to The Firekeeper's Daughter, which is like kind of like a true crime like thriller trying to unravel like you know what has transpired in her community and reserve, and then I go to Pet Cemetery and I'm like, okay, I am like, like there's death and there's murders and like it's just dark and twisty, and I'm like, okay, I need to get out of this rabbit hole like really fast because this is just not a good state of mind that I need to be in right now. I think like based off of these three, like I'm glad that I pick them up. Like, I don't get me wrong, I'm really glad I read them, but at the same time too, I'm like, okay, I need to really change this up. Um, so the reason why I wanted to talk about lit RPG, in case no one knows what that is, it is a subgenre of science fiction. It's like gamified like literature. And that's all I can really like kind of describe it as. Dungeon Crawler Carl by Matt Dinneman was a self-published book back in 2020, I think. And now it's gotten all this hype because it's been like obtained by a publisher, and it's just really gaining steam because the first book is absolutely phenomenal. I read, I think I'm at the 75% mark. I'm so close to finishing it. Let me see. No, sorry. I'm at the 60% mark, but still, like, it is so good. Like, I've been laughing. I've been, like, entertained. I feel like I'm in a World Live Dungeons and Dragons game. Like, if you're into that kind of thing, you're definitely gonna love this series. And like I act like I've read this whole series, but like I feel like if it has the similar vibe going into the final six more books, because there's seven books in total, I guess, with this series, um, I know I'm gonna love it and everything's gonna be 5 stars like across the board. But I was like looking at other books that are in this genre because it seems like the pandemic really introduced a lot of new subgenres. And I had learned about romantasy. I've now learned about lit RPG. I've learned about space opera. I mean, like, I'm an older millennial, so like we didn't have, it was like literally just cutthroat, like, this is fantasy, this is sci-fi, this is contemporary fiction, and then this is like nonfiction. Like, there was not this like broader like subgenre specification, like, from what I remember, at least. Maybe I just wasn't paying much attention, but I'm very intrigued because like I am trying to expand as much as I humanly can, with what I'm reading. Um, and I am all for this lit RPG like subgenre just because like I'm very into video games. If you didn't know, I do have a master's in video game design and development. So I have been like a video game buff like since I was a kid. So like to find like a subgenre of books that kind of embraces that RPG, like role playing game type, like thing is everything in a bag of Snickers for me. so, um, so yeah. But yeah, I can officially say that this is my fourth book of the month. I am almost done with it, and I want more of this lit RPG. So I started asking ChatGPT. If you guys have listened to my prior episodes, I mentioned about ChatGPT quite a bit, but I was really curious because LLMs are really great for doing like that fast end research for you. If you give it the specific prompt, it will give you that information back. Like, you don't have to scroll through endless amounts of Google and stuff like that. So I did ask ChatGPT if it had recommendations based off of lit RPG, and I got some very amazing recommendations, and I'm actually really excited about picking these up because they're at my library, believe it or not. But yeah, so I got lost my train of thought just now, but um no, like I asked ChatGPT, I was like, "Hey, I'm reading Dungeon Crawler Carl by Matt Dinman right now. I want more of the lit RPG subgenre in my reading life. What other books can you recommend, and what authors can you recommend?" And it really did give me the immersive world building, the game mechanics, the action, the humor, all of that. And that's exactly what Dungeon Crawler Carl is. It's like just it's you're literally immersed in this world building life, and like you have like all these different types of classes and like these like it's gamified. So and the humor is great. But it had recommended like Shirtaloon, Travis Dev Deverell. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. I'm so terrible with names. It the last name is spelled Deverell. And his first name is Travis, Travis. He who fights with monsters. I guess this one is like witty, sarcastic, and full of the RPG mechanics. So I definitely want to pick this up. Apparently, Shirtaloon was around even the exact same, maybe a little bit earlier than Matt Dinman, but it seems like this series, He Who Fights with Monsters, and then Dungeon Crawler Carl, I guess those were the two main series that really picked up steam to really start broadening this lit RPG like subgenre. They also had recommended Illyrian Kong, The Land. Um, I guess this series has like a lot of stats, leveling, and over the top like adventures, kind of like Dungeon Crawler Carl. Um, it's like got that chaotic energy and that's like similar humor, but those and then it like mentions The Good Guys by Eric Ugland. I definitely have added every single one of these series to my TBR list. Um, I don't know how fast I'm going to be able to get it from my library, because I'm on this like journey, if you will, to not purchase right away. I want to read the book first before I know I'm gonna like reread it and purchase it and spend my money on it. So um I guess it's kind of cheating like going through my library, but honestly I have to like start thinking more frugally, if you will, because things in the US, if you're listening from outside of the US, the economy's getting a little weird. But yeah, I'm just being a little bit, I guess I'm being conservative, I guess is the term, but I don't know. I'm personally just watching what I'm spending, is what I like to say. But there was like several others too. So if you want dungeon crawls galore, it says Delvers LLC by Blaze Corvin. Portal fantasy meets lit RPG with entrepreneurial dungeon crawling. That sounds interesting. The Slime Dungeon Chronicles by Jeffrey Falcon. Logu. Logu. I don't know. Logue. Told partly from the perspective of the dungeon itself. Now that's interesting. So it's like a narrator, like the location is the narrator. Interesting. See, this is what I'm talking about these like subgenres. Like they just like twist it, and I'm all for it. I am here for it. Noob Town. Noob Town by Ryan Rimmel. A sarcastic MC wakes up in a run-down starter town and tries to fix it while cracking jokes. Okay, sounds like Minecraft. I mean, I don't know. Let's see, what else does ChatGPT say? Spells, Swords, and Stealth by Drew Hayes. Clever twist. The story follows an NPC party in a tabletop style RPG world. Okay. I don't know how you would do that in a book, but hey, I am very much interested. Awaken Online by Travis Bagwell. More on the darker anti hero side, the MC embraces the villain role in an immersive VR game. Now that sounds really cool. I mean, cause like you get the V Schwab like series. I think it's called Villains. like I love those types of books where you like kind of see like the darker end of the spectrum, not just like the good guys. You see the bad guys and why, and how. I know Renegades. I can't remember what the author's name is to save my life. I think it was maybe Meyer is the last name. I don't know. But Renegades, I read that probably like, oh my god, it's probably been about like 7 years since I've read that book. I have the series on my shelf and I want to reread it, but it was part of my so I used to do these like themed reads where I would pick a theme and I would just put specific to that theme on my TBR. So one month I did superheroes and villains, and that's how I ended up getting exposed to Renegades. But it was pretty good, not gonna lie. I was exposed to Miss Marvel too. So yeah, I got exposed to that, and then I had V Schwab villains. I'm surprised I remember the list that I had for that, but yeah. So I don't know, like it kind of. I know I got on a tangent there, but it kind of reminds me of that. So I'd be really curious on that too. But let's see, epic scope and strong world building. Oh, I already mentioned Awaken Online. So that's the more on the darker anti-hero. Okay, so Spells, Swords, and Stealth by Drew Hayes. Mentioned that one. That one's the tabletop style RPG world. And then Ascend Online by Luke Chmillenko. Classic VR MMORPG. Virtual reality massive multiplayer. Okay. Uh, with a good mix of adventure and progression. Interesting. Okay. Well, it's only giving me the titles. I can't really see like what the synopsis and stuff is with these, but like I said, I'm intrigued. Dungeon Crawler Carl by Matt Dittman. I definitely recommend picking it up. I know everybody and their mother on booktube is talking about it, but I promise you it's one of those hyped up books that you do really do want to read. um and it's been like a nice change up from Pet Cemetery because Pet Cemetery traumatized me. um let's see what other books that I pick up recently. I want to talk about some more. Oh, Wild Card. So I finished that duology. That is the Warcross duology by Marie Lu. And actually, it was like my first exposure to Marie Lu's writing, and I really loved both of those books. It was gamified as well, but I liked it in the sense that it kind of reminded me of like Tron and the second book of Ready Player Two. The Ready Player series, specifically Ready Player Two. That one really reminded me of this entire series, but it was really cool because like it involved hackers, it involved like a gamified like competition, if you will. It reminded me a lot of like Tron, but it in the sense of like the gamified like arena and stuff like that. But yeah, I gave that one 5 stars too. So if you're looking for like a quicker read, it is considered YA. But I promise you it's not like one of those like, I don't know how I want to describe this because like YA has aged out for me personally, but I personally found this YA to be a little bit more on the mature side, I guess. Because like you get like a lot of these younger characters in YA, and it really should be considered like middle grade and juvenile, but honestly, this one was like full grown adults and stuff. So I don't know how it was considered YA, but it is. But I liked it just because of the fact that you had the competition. It really gave me the vibes of like Tron. It gave me really similar vibes to how I felt about Ready Player Two, which I really do hope that there's a third book, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, like that was another one of my sci-fi picks that I definitely recommend picking up. And then let's see. Uh yeah, so those were like the recent ones that I do want to talk about. Um I think I have a July wrap up coming up, so I don't want to give too much away, but um and maybe I already released it, who knows. I can't keep track of my own episodes right now. This is so bad. Ugh. I've been very tired. It's been exhausting. My youngest is on this stint of waking up multiple times a night, and I still somehow have to figure out how to focus and be functional for work. So so yeah. So like this episode is being recorded in multiple spurts. So I'm sorry if it's really really random, but I only get so much time to like kind of get something and then like put it aside and then piece it all together. So um but yeah, that's how this project is going. But yeah. Um yeah, I don't know. So yeah. So let's see. Pet Cemetery. Just I don't know. Pet Cemetery is so fresh in my brain right now. It's not even funny. Because I literally just finished it yesterday, I think. So that's why it's super fresh in my head. But like, I don't know. It's just it's definitely a book I should have definitely figured out what the description was and figured it out. Um, I should have had warning about it, I guess, is what I should have said. But um, yeah. So let's see. What am I currently reading right now? That's probably something we can talk about too. So, like I said, Dungeon Crawler Carl. Um, that's at the 60% mark. Oh, Beautiful Ugly by Alice Feeney. I did not realize I was gonna like this book so much. This one's been a pretty quick read too. So this is considered a thriller. Um, it really reminds me a lot of Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn, I believe. If I didn't botch that up and I remember it off the top of my head, but it really reminds me of that. I don't know, but it's about this writer. His wife goes missing, and now he is a year later, and he's just trying to move on and write a new book because he's like literally flat broke. And he goes to this like remote island because of his publisher, or editor, I believe. No, agent. Sorry, agent. Oh my gosh. How are you supposed to read books that I recommend? um, so his agent refers to this like writing cabin that his her other former one of her former writers used to own, and she just handed over the keys and was like, "Hey, go on a sabbatical or something." So he gets to this island, and like these people are just like flat out freaking creepy. Like I said, I've been reading some pretty weird, deep, creepy, dark books. I don't know. It's just been a vibe, I guess. Um but yeah, like I'm 45% of the way through that book. I'm like kind of um I'm definitely solidly reading that one. Just because that book is like 200 some odd pages, not even. I think it's like only a 300-page book, but I have to say like I really am surprised that I'm liking this one just because of the fact that anytime you have like a missing spouse or like it just feels more like a mystery than a thriller to me, but this one definitely reads like a it has the creep factor. Like I would say like it's kind of borderline like horror and psychological thriller, I want to say. I don't know. But it's my first exposure to Alice Feeney on top of it. So it's one of my book of the month picks that I had a rather large back end book log of because I kept picking books out, putting it on my shelf, and then not reading them. so, um, so yeah, I'm reading that one. I know, like, I'm kind of bouncing around a little bit, but I'm also like listening to Ordinary Monsters by J.M. Miro. I guess this is the Talents trilogy. I don't really know too much about this one, but I really like the time period that this is in. I've only like listened to maybe like 1 or 2% of this book, but I personally am really liking it so far. Um, I think like based off of like kind of going from Sky Without Stars and being in like kind of like a futuresque Les Mis environment, and then like kind of getting exposed to this like gothic horror with Shirley Jackson and all that. It kind of gives me like similar vibes to that, and then um, I have to say too, I think I want to say that it's kind of reminding me of Miss Peregrine's Peculiar Children, House for Peculiar Children. That series was pretty good too. But I go into these books like not knowing much. I don't like to know a whole lot. Um I know that at one point they were probably popular. And I have them on my shelf because of that very reason. Thanks, BookTube. But I'm gonna say that over the years I've really lost track of like what all these books are. So, but I do like the writing style so far. So, can't really say too much about that one, but that's another one I picked up recently. And then, because of Pet Cemetery, I needed something quirky and funny. So that's why I had picked up Dungeon Crawler Carl, and I picked up The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. I'm listening to that one on audiobook. It's a really short audiobook. It's only like 6 hours. And with how fast I listen to audiobooks, I'll probably have it done before the end of the day today. But I mean, I've seen the movie, and I probably spoiled this whole series for myself, but I really like it. It's a galactic hit like guide, if you will, to you know Volcon, uh and like all the like alien species and how to get around the universe. And it's really funny, and it's like kind of like a guidebook, and it doesn't have chapters. That's the only thing I don't like about it. But I don't know, like I love that movie a lot, like growing up, so I really wanted to pick up this series for some time now, but haven't gotten around to it. But I'm glad that I at least own the first book, because this is definitely something I could see myself rereading. But yeah, so that's another one I'm reading. I think I like listed off like 4 or 5 books that I'm reading at the same time. Yeah. Ordinary Monsters, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Beautiful Ugly by Alice Feeney, Dungeon Crawler Carl. Um, I think there's another one that I picked up too, and it's through the Libby app though. No, well, I do have on queue Heaven Breaker by Sarah Wolf, but I'm I'm going to take my time with that one because that one's the mech one. I have to like really like I really want to take in that experience. So that is something I do know, is that this one's more of like mech wars and sci-fi and fantasy kind of combined together. And I'm like, yes, this is gonna be so cool. So I'm holding off on that one just because I really want to enjoy that one, and I don't want to be kind of mixing all this other stuff that I'm currently listening to and reading, until I finished a good bulk of these other ones. And I think that's what's really been helping me a lot with um, this year, is that I'm not just doing one at a time. And normally I don't do just one at a time. I'm like bouncing between, but I'm consistently making time to, make sure that I'm giving myself me time. So, and it has helped tremendously being able to pick up those audiobooks from the Libby app. Um, I mean, if you have that through your library or even Hoopla, I definitely recommend it. I'm not a fan of like Audible just because it's so expensive. And I've been hearing about Everand and all that. There's like I know that even Spotify has like audiobooks too if you have the premium version, but um, I mean, I'd rather utilize my library. So, and that's why I want to support my library, and that's why like I kind of go after um what's on the Libby app in Hoopla. So, the more I could support my library, the better. So, and that's kind of like where I'm at with audiobooks, but it's great that I can, listen to them while I'm driving to work. It's good that I can listen to them while I'm doing development work. Um, Obviously, I can't listen to them when I'm on client calls and stuff like that, but it's nice being able to have like another way to um, take in books as I go through my crazy life. So, but yeah, yeah, so honestly, the only other thing that I wanted to mention in this episode was where I'm tracking with my reading goals for 2025. So Hercad kind of threw in a major wrench into my reading goals for the year, only because like I started that in July. Um, as of right now, it looks like I've far exceeded my 2025 audiobook reading goal. I have exceeded that by 15 books. I wanted to read 25 for the year, and I am at 30, it looks like, um, if not more. So um, I've definitely gotten myself ahead. Actually, that's 5 that I'm ahead on. But as far as like hitting it by January 2026, that's where the 15 books ahead of schedule is falling in. Um, as far as the physical books, I had put down for reading physical goal is 25 by January 1st of 2026. Currently, right now, as it stands, I'm 8 books ahead of that schedule. I'm at a 23 total books for physical reads. And then I also made a goal of hitting over 10,000 pages for 2025, which it looks like I've hit, I believe, 8,664 pages for the year. So I mean, I'm doing really, really well for my reading goals. Like I had mentioned in previous episodes, um, last year was just not great. In like previous years, like, I have had really good reading like years, and then like this one's definitely been by far the best reading year to date. Just because like I am showing to date, I have 53 books read, um 319 hours listened on audiobook, and 8,664 pages read. And I mean, I'm really switching it up with the authors too, because it looks like compared to last year, right now, currently, I've read 50 different authors, whereas in 2024, I only read 44 different authors, but I also read 11,127 pages, 42 total books, and 24 hours of listened books. So the majority of my reading last year was physical reads. Compared to this year, it's definitely looking like the audiobooks are helping along, which, hey, if I'm consuming a book, that's the way I feel. I think this is great. I'm knocking off my physical TBR. Um, while secondhandly getting more on my physical TBR. So, um, but I mean, honestly, I'm enjoying this process, and this project with the podcast has really helped me with explaining and, just talking about books because I love talking about books. Um, do I listen to my previous episodes? Probably not. So I'm editing currently right now to post this up. So this is current Christina. Um, but yeah, like I hope you guys are enjoying this podcast. If you are wanting to connect, I do still have the Discord channel. I'm still connecting with individuals on hardcover. And I appreciate you all that have continuously came back to download my episodes and listen in. But yeah, until next time, I will catch you guys later. All right, bye.